Hello again, I am back and this time to cover Buildcraft's engines. Now, this isn't all the engines in the pack, there's a couple other ones, but these are all the ones I'm highly familiar with, I should say. And so I wanted to cover some of their usage. Now, over here you're going to see a Magmatic engine. Now, a lot of people have been having problems with these because they're inconsistencies. Now, there's a reason why they're inconsistent, and particularly involved in the abuse of the magma crucible in regards to the magmatic engines. So, as you can see right here, it's trying to power this pipe, but there's nothing to go to, so it keeps storing up energy and heat. What's going to happen is this engine is going to overheat, and it will stop. I believe it's at 10,000 that it overheats, so we're just a little ways from it overheating and stopping. So let's see what happens. Hopefully. But anyways, this has been a big problem. People like Neveris as well as other people have all had problems with these magmatic engines. There you go. Now it's stopped. And now it's going to slowly lose energy and temperature until it gets back into operating range. And the problem with this is that people have been using magmatic crucibles, let me plop it right back down, above these magmatic engines, and magmatic crucible, or no, magma. Have I been saying magmatic this whole time? Ay. So, people have been using magmatic crucibles above these, and the problem is that once these either fill up with lava or run out of netherrack, they stop taking power from these magmatic engines. And what that means is that they overheat because they have nowhere to put that power. And so if you're AFK away from your magmatic engines, or AFK with your magmatic engines running, but you're not supplying them with new netherrack, or you're not pumping out the liquid fast enough, or anything that causes this to sit here and just do a operation without anything to put the power into. Right now it's actually getting stored here. But basically this is what's happening, is it overheats and it locks up. Now there's actually a way to fix this. You're supposed to whack it with the Buildcraft pipe, right click. There we go. Whack it with the Buildcraft pipe by right clicking it, fixes it. Rather than having to break and replace it, which loses all of that lava inside of it. This is the biggest problem I've seen people having with the Feed the Beast mod pack in terms of engines from Buildcraft. But, so that's that. I'm going to put this gold pipe back here. Also, magmatic engines are the only engines that run without a redstone power source that I am aware of by default. They seem to just run by themselves. I'm not sure if that's a setting I had, but, yeah. It didn't run with... I didn't even have to put a torch here to make it run. So not quite sure about what's going on. Yeah. Oh, there it stops. I don't know. It was running by default without the settings. But anyways, it will just keep pumping power. But if it can't pump power, which it's pumping to this, I'll explain that in a bit, it's going to lock up. So that's your problem you guys have been having if you've been using this little setup to create infinite lava. Now, next up is the electric engine I'm going to show off, and this one is by far the simplest, as in there's literally nothing to it. I have a quantum generator. It's a cheat thing, just giving it as much power as it wants. It just pumps out energy. What a lot of people don't realize at first is that there's actually a lot of upgrade slots, and that would take way too long in this video to cover, but I just wanted to show you that the electric engine works just by getting power, getting a redstone torch. Next up, the biogas engine, and a lot of people have been having problems with this one as well, but this is only because they are toggling it. I'm going to show you what I mean by that in a sec, so I'm going to put some more biomass in here. So, if you start it up, it's going to start its boot up sequence. It has to heat up. Now, this heating up process takes time depending on how much lava is in there, and some of this lava is going to be consumed by the startup process. And the thing is that if you break this and let it cool down again, every time you keep replacing a torch and restarting it, or if you have a lever and you're flicking a lever, it's slowly going to use up lava that stops it from pumping power into your system. And this is a big thing that some people have been having, is that that they don't get the lava stored up enough so that you can constantly flip it. And there's a cooldown or a warm-up period of time where it takes a while to reheat the engine after it's been cooled down for a long time. So these biogas engines are actually extremely efficient for what it takes to get biomass. And they're really nifty, but you just gotta remember to keep them stacked with lava so that they can boot up. And as for the delay on boot up times, I'm not quite familiar with why sometimes it takes way longer than it would normally otherwise to boot up. But that's these engines. Keep them with lava. Every reboot requires a new bit of lava to start it. Next up is combustion engines. These are just dead simple. You just gotta keep them filled with, keep them filled with lava. Or not lava, water. If you don't have water in these guys will overheat and blow the hell up. And then I just have Stirling engine and Redstone engine over here for fun. The Redstone actually is here to show a point. So Stirling engine, blah blah blah, runs with coal, never explodes. Redstone engine, as you might notice, does not power these pipes. This was a change in the about 2 versions ago. They made so that engines don't power pipes. This was because people were just using cheap redstone engines as an infinite power source. So yeah, scratch that. I guess we don't need the Stirling engine either. Now this little baby over here is a redstone energy cell. These are insanely hard to craft. They're down here. Whoops. They take an energy cell frame that's full and some lead, ingot, and electricium, which aren't really that hard to get. But the real hard to get part is this little guy. You gotta transpose molten redstone into a frame, which takes a diamond, which takes more of this electrium, which takes hardened glass, which is just a long process. But basically these act as, I would guess you would call it an MFSU plus. You can change the output up to up to 100 MJs, and you can change the input limits to whatever you'd like. And basically these act like a variable power source that makes it really awesome. These are extremely expensive to make, but they basically allow you to use Buildcraft power, very similar to how you use industrial craft power, whereas you can store it up rather than having to, for instance, use it up. Because right now, if you break this, all these engines will still keep running. Geez, that takes a bit to break. All these engines are going to keep running, and they're just going to keep pumping power into here. And if you have things in the way to take up the power, they'll just consume all the power in these lines. So let's take the magma crucible again. Oops. Magma crucible. There we go. Let's do this quickly before they blow. Those pipes will blow up after a bit, by the way. And if we put a magma crucible here, wow, look at that. Millions of energy. Really fast. But once that fills up, it will just keep this power source draining, even though it can't use all the power. As long as it can keep using some of the power, like if we give it cobblestone, it will keep draining the power off. And I'll try to see if I can't show that off. Cannot spell for this. So I want to let it fill up real quick. And these guys are actually generating quite a bit of MJ. I mean, look at that. It's going up 100 a second or so. It's quite a lot of power. It's probably mostly this combustion image generates a lot of MJ. I think it's the highest out of all of these. But anyways, so it's full now, and now it's building up. But if I give it, say, some magma cobble, it's going to start performing its operation. And as you can see, the power's coming into it right now. But there's no way it's using 100 MJ a tick. Instead, it's just draining all the power from those engines, and you're not actually getting anything really out of it. So you're losing a lot of power here by having this set up. And I don't think a lot of people realize that in the Buildcraft power system, that these things will just eat power and it's lost. and that's just due to the nature of the power system. But so yeah, magma crucibles, as you can see, it can only use a maximum of 20 MJ a tick. Yet somehow, even though I was generating all that MJ, I believe this generates well over the MJ required. But I might be wrong now that I think about it, because that says output 0, which is not true. But actually, now that I think about it, 1 second, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. So I've added quite a few more biogas engines over here. This is 25 per tick worth, just to show you that I was not BSing, because actually I wasn't producing enough power in the line to overwhelm the 20 MJ use. At least I don't think I was. But now I definitely am, because now I have 25 MJ here, 4 MJ here, 2 MJ there, I believe, 5 more there, and another 5 there. So as you can see, it's still using up all the power in the line. If I had another machine here, that other machine would start taking some of that loose power, but the rest of the power is just wasted, as this can only use 20 MJ a tick. And so what it does is it consumes the leftovers of the difference in what it takes in, and whatever's left over is just destroyed because there's nowhere else for it to go. Now this is to stop the pipes from overflowing and blowing up, but this also makes it so you waste energy. So using one of those redstone power thingamabobs that I broke over here, using one of these, whoa, that was a big bolus. Using one of these takes a lot of power. So yeah, anyways, that's all I have today for the Buildcraft 3 power system. Next I'm actually going to do a small covering of the Buildcraft pipe systems, including some little known features of the pipes for their interactions with these engines for my next part of Buildcraft. But I don't know if I'm going to do that next, or if I'm going to instead cover Red Power's Bluetricity. I've been wanting to cover that for a bit, as that one's relatively new to me. But yeah, so just showing off here too. Some people have been having problems with powering multiple engines into a single pipe. You just have to make sure that they all have a redstone signal, and that the pipe connects to a gold pipe somehow. So I have a redstone engine on all of these sides. As long as it's connected to gold pipe somehow, they'll all pump into it correctly, assuming they have a redstone signal. And I believe the engines don't get redstone signals the same way pistons do, so be careful when you're powering them. I think they're a little trickier to power. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day.